Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel, Alton Views. And I'm so excited, guys. Today is 9/11, and we know what happened 22 years ago. Our country was being attacked by terrorists, and the terrorists used for domestic plane as a missile. Um, that 9/11, the first plane that crashed in that tower, America is never the same again, especially the way how we travel. Um, Things change at the airport pertaining traveling, um, do a lot of scanning, taking off your shoes, your belt, go through laptop. Um, they do just about everything to keep the public safe. So before 9/11, there was a lot of loophole um, because these men that did it, they go through the airport scanning, buy them ticket, and they're board um, for separate planes. Um, where were me 9/11? Um, I remember waking up that morning and I saw it on the news um, talking about the Twin Tower was it. And to be honest, when you're talking about the Twin Tower, I think that the Twin Tower was in the UK. Some reason or the other, I thought the Twin Tower was in the UK. And the first time I heard about Twin Towers through basketball. Um, and the San Antonio Spurs back in the days, um, you have David Robinson and Tim Duncan, one forward and one center, and these guys are super tall. And when people come to the rim, they would block those shots, man. Any angle you take, these guys were a tower, and so they call them Twin Tower because the twin was so tall. And we see in basketball they use um, things to identify players. Like example, you'd have a player named Ben Wallace, and for the Detroit, um, and they call him Big Ben. So we see that the things shape cars and Flash, Dwight, D Wade, and Black Mamba. So you see it, they call players of what they assume these players would fit. And so I heard Twin Tower from David and Timmy. So when I saw the news, um, I said at first I thought it was in the UK. I never thought that someone would come to the US and attack the US. And it took me a couple minutes before I realized it was really in New York. And so, we go on the street and people gather around and people started to talk. And At the time, President Bush was in Florida, and so I think people was even being scared even in the city of Miami, because they were saying they was going to drop a plane in the city of Miami. So people was kind of nervous and getting panic, and you know what I'm saying, they was kind of panicking, and then plus the president was right in Florida, and so people are saying, well, maybe they're going to hunt the president next and all those stuff. And so, you know, so on and so forth. They have to ground it all of the plane. And they know they use 4 planes, that 2 crashed in a tower in New York, 1 crashed in the Pentagon in DC, and the other one crashed. I think the passenger called a loved one, because that was the fourth plane, and they told him that they're going to use the plane as a missile. So these people say, you know what, we're going to die in a way. So you know what, let's try and take over the plane. And they try and take over the plane, and it never goes on to plan, which the plane ended up crashing, but it never hit the target, which some people are saying the target would be the White House or in DC. We don't really show what was the fourth target, but those people take over the flight, and the plane crashed. And that day, over less than under 3,000 people lost their life, and over 6,000 people were injured. And it was like 343 firefighters that lose their life. And I was watching a documentary with one of the firefighters that went in the first tower that got hit. And they was in the lobby, and the elevator stopped work because when the plane hit the tower, I think it cut the light off, so the elevator wasn't working. So they have to go up the stage. They have one staircase and two staircase on both sides. And while the firefighter was there talking, they're trying to figure out how they're gonna go up, and you know, whatever they need to do. We could hear boom, 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 some loud noise, and I think the captain was asking, "What was that? What those noises for?" And I think one person came in, a firefighter came in and said, "Sir, those are people jumping for the death." You see what happened that day? Some people were faced 2 ways to die: either be burnt or jump to their death. Or can you choose 2 ways to die? And some people that, amen, I can't be burnt, the pain and the agony, so they choose to jump. And to put yourself in that moment, you have to choose either to be burnt or to jump. You know, like those people that jump, you know, like as they hit the ground, maybe they pass, so maybe they don't feel much pain. But that is a tough choice. I can't see myself and jump. I don't know. That is a tough choice. So those people were jumping. One thing I look at again is those guys, those terrorists. What can someone tells me that I am going to kill myself? I know I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to take over this plane and I'm going to crash in that building. I don't know what somebody can tell me to convince me. What can somebody convince me So I'm going to take a plane and to run into a building. There's nothing, nobody can convince me. But these guys were convinced and they believe that they're doing the right stuff. Just a thought of you gonna die and you execute it, that takes me back that even Jesus knew that he was gonna die. He predicted his death. Even when he was at the table, the Last Supper, he tells Judas to go and do what you got to do and do it quickly. And he told even Peter that he's going to deny him 3 times before the cock crows. And we see that when Jesus knows that his time is about to come, and even Jesus had looked and said, why? And he started to pray. And he said, if it's possible, take this cup away from me. So basically, Jesus was wondering if there's a different way I can go to make salvation comes than for me to go through the cross, me to get beaten and spit on and nailed to that wooden cross. And when he saw the sorrows, he's like, is there a different way for this cup to be passed? And then he said, it's not my will, but it's your will. Let your will be done. Because Jesus prayed till him sweat turned into blood. But the sign of death, I don't know, how can I know that if I do this, I'm going to die, if I'm going to go through it? Those guys are brave. So 9/11, as we celebrate and we look and reminisce of those people who lost their life and the first responders, let their soul rest in peace. And I hope that we will never see a next day like this before, because the heart of man is wicked and there's war all over and people just want to do good people stuff. Those people leave out and go to work, leave their wives and kids, friends, and you go to work and you don't know that this is your last day living. And some people just come. You have nothing to do with no war, and just come and just take lives, unnecessary lives. Those are wicked. Those are evil. And so as we go through the day, we have to ask God for protection. We don't know the next minute, the next hour. We don't know when our time is coming. We wake up in the morning and we do our daily routine, go to work, go to school, go to function, whatever we go, and we don't know the next hour will be the last. But this is 9/11, and I salute for the fallen soldiers, people who lost their loved one, firefighters and first responders. Let your soul rest in peace. Guys, please like, share, and subscribe.